Okay, good evening. It is Tuesday, March 26th, 6:02 p.m. This is the Hannah City Community and Economic Development Council meeting, and we are going to get rolling here. Because we have two people online, but we do have a quorum in the room, I would entertain a motion at this point to allow remote members to vote.
So moved.
Second.
So we got so moved by Syed. Sorry, it's been a long day. Second by Chatterton. All those in the room in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that means Trace, you and Megan are eligible to vote online. We don't have any guests to recognize at this point, so the first thing I want to do is I just want to say thank you. I know this is volunteer time for you guys, and I know on behalf of the village board, we're grateful that you take the time to do this. It means a lot to the community to have people that are representing both the community at large, but also the taxing bodies to take a look at these applications and help us decide what makes sense in terms of economic development within the town. So I'm grateful for that. In your packs in front of you, you should have the minutes from the last meeting, which, believe it or not, was June 13th, 2023. So take a minute to look that over, and after you've done so, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as is or modify and then approve.
So
I'll make a motion to approve minutes.
Okay, we got a motion by Chatterton. Will you second, Megan? Megan, are you willing to second?
Yes.
Okay, so second by Welker. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is go through the financial review. It looks like this in your packets. It's got the big Hannah City logo on the front of it. I just wanted to lay the groundwork so you understood where we stand. Our fiscal year runs May 1 through April 30, so these are the results through February. We don't have March results done yet because March isn't over. But this is basically month 10 of the 12-month fiscal year. If you look at the first slide, you can see year-to-date, the blue is the actual. So following down on the budget, we had budgeted income, budgeted expense, and budgeted variance. This is for the tax incremental finance district. We had actual income of $73,962, and we had actual expenses of $61,297. And so far this year, we're at $12,665 to the good, which is wonderful. This is our second year to the good. Very little will change in the next 2 years. There's no more property tax that comes in, and we're not anticipating any costs. So we'll probably finish the year with $12,665 to the good for TIF. If you remember right, TIF money comes in based upon the incremental property tax growth that goes up, so it takes longer to build money. Last year, I waited this year. This year's budget is going to be a little bit more realistic because we get new property tax dollars like in the first month of April, and so I'm going to wait this year till I get those dollars to finalize the TIF budget, where last year we didn't do that, which is why our budget was so low, I think. The next slide then shows the business development district. So this is the 1% additional sales tax that goes out. So our income, believe it or not, is a little bit lower this year. I don't know why, but the sales tax in town has been lower than it has been in the last couple of years. Therefore, also the BDD tax is lower than what it was. So we're about $8,000 below what we anticipated through the first 10 months. Our expenses year to date are higher, but we don't have any more expenses come in. We're $7,868 to the bad through the first 10 months, but we have 2 more months of roughly $10,000 to $11,000 worth of income and no new expenses. So we'll wind up the year positive for the business development district as well. Next slide shows cash on hand as of the end of February. So the TIF district, we're starting to build. We've got $27,863 in there. Not enough really to start running programs out of that unless they were small. but it is growing. Like I said, I don't think much is going to change between now and the end of the year. Just going to continue to let it build. What we really need is, that solar farm or Herman's or somebody big to come in and all of a sudden increase the property tax, incrementally to see it grow. Otherwise, it's just incremental each year. So the next business development district, we do have almost $227,000 in there. We got the March and April income yet to come, and like I said, the sales tax is lower than expected. We don't have any more expenses, so it's probably going to go up another $20,000 to $22,000. The other thing I did find out, I don't know how much you guys know about the Illinois funds. Are you familiar with the Illinois funds? It's a place where municipalities can put dollars that earn roughly we've been earning around 5.3% on our money. And I ran the trap line with our auditors and the lawyers and everybody, but we can put business development district and TIF district money in that account because you can pull it out whenever you want. It's like a 3-day process. So we'll be moving some dollars in there to help grow these dollars further. It's 5%, so why not?
It makes you money.
Yeah, we've been, our income this year for the villages, we had an additional almost $60,000 this year just by moving money into Illinois funds. As far as the TIF budget, what I've got here is income 23-24 fiscal year versus 24-25. Again, I think these TIF numbers might go up a little bit further once we get the additional property tax information. But I just wanted to show that the income is growing, the expenses obviously are growing, because the more that we bring in, the more that we give back. The 80% of the residential goes back to you guys, so that's an expense that goes back out. But we continue to increase the TIF and make more money. And so the income would be up $49,000. Again, that's the TIF property tax base increasing. Going to refine with the April data, and then this year we'll probably try to distribute it in the months when we actually know when we're going to get property tax income, rather than just divide it by the 12 months. And then the expenses I talked about, that as the income grows, what we give back grows. And we're going to refine that with the April data as well. You look at the BDD. The one disappointing thing here is the income. You see we're projecting lower because of the sales tax being down. Expenses are a little bit higher, so the variance is positive, but not quite as high as it was last year. So we're about $10,000 less income budgeted, and that's based upon this year's actuals, and our expenses will be a little bit higher. We haven't budgeted for the developer reimbursement in the past, which is the coffee can, and so I put that in there because that's starting to grow. So that gives you a kind of an understanding of where we are and what kind of money we actually have on hand before we start talking about these projects. I apologize for the little spreadsheet that I've got two spreadsheets that one is for the residential projects and one is for the commercial project. The text is small. So basically, just to describe the process, what happens is when I get an application in, I send it to our economic development partners, Jacob and Klein, and they review it to make sure that the person's paid their back taxes, that they are in the TIF district, that the project is eligible, the project work is eligible, and so forth. And then they tell me it's either good or it's not. So you can see 24R4 and 24R5 did not comply. The first one, the top one, they had an address that was in the TIF district, but where they were wanting to do the work was not in the TIF district. They were wanting to do it in an area that wasn't in the TIF district, so the wrong address would not allow it to work. And then the other one, the home was in the TIF district, but not the BDD district, so they were not eligible as well. So tonight we've got 4 projects that are eligible, and we'll go through them and chat about them. Three of the 4, the first 3, 24R1, 24R2, and 24R3 are all first-time applicants, and then the 24R6 project is a repeat applicant. Doesn't mean they shouldn't get money, but kind of what we've been using as criteria is the project good for the town, and if it is, then we want to approve it. And then if all things being equal, if he's competing with somebody who already has received money, then we would go with the project that somebody had to receive money. That's kind of what we've talked about. The interesting thing is here is if you look at the total 75% of what's been turned in, it's $13,265. We can spend $25,000, so we're still well below the total. So to me, the question would be on 24R6, and I don't really care what you all decide, but it is a repeat applicant, so we can either approve it, deny it, or we can put it on hold and see if we get other applicants that apply that want to. If you want to hold that money back for perhaps a new project somewhere else. So the next 4 stapled items in your packet then are the first project, Avery, is 24R1. I don't think I labeled them. This is a window replacement project for a house that is on Runkle. The estimate is $3,500, so 75% of that would be $2,625. I do believe that there's 2 quotes in there, so it does meet that criteria. I think I plugged in the lower of the 2 quotes, assuming that's the one that would be selected. I guess I don't know that to be fact. Would there be any questions about this project?
Nope.
Before we vote on any of them, I think we'll go through all of them. The second project is Steve and Michelle Fouts. They've got an estimated project of $10,800. They're redoing a driveway. I think it's blacktop asphalt repair on a driveway. And they at $10,800 estimate for that project. They would hit the max $5,000. Because it's either 80% of the max of the 5,000, so that they would hit the max. Any question on that one? The next project is 24R3 is Peter Kaufman.
Nope.
Peter Kaufman is removing some trees and then wants to put in some new trees. The new trees are not in here in terms of project at this point, so we may have to circle back and approve that later if this one's one that gets approved. We did some tree removal last year, if you remember. And then 24R4 is the repeat applicant. Ken McCoy lives straight down here at the end of First Street. And I believe he's doing repairing concrete surfaces on his driveway, and then I think they're applying that coating that goes over the concrete. You know what I'm talking about? And that project was estimated at $3,200, if I got it right. So 75% of that would be $2,400. So I guess
just for clarification on this, this is an exterior driveway.
It is. Mm-hmm.
And they're going to put the epoxy treatment on an exterior.
Yeah. He was looking at he had some interior stuff that he was looking at wanting to do, but I told him that wouldn't be approved because it's not visible.
Right. Never heard of that. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know anything about it. I don't know.
I know more doing it in a garage, not so much on your outside.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
So the apply polypartic top coat, I thought you could only apply, you could not apply that to the exterior, but as long as it's all on the exterior, I'm fine with it.
I mean, I can confirm that. So those are the 4 projects we got. Like I said, if we approve all of them, we'd be using roughly 13,000 of the 25,000 cap that we have available. I think there's three options. We can approve, we can hold, or we can deny. And I think those are the three things that we have the option to do.
The image in page 2 of 8, it's pretty challenging to see, but it appears the mentoring of 100 quantity of 120 concrete repair. The image appears to be an interior image.
Yeah. What I'll do is if you say, well, again, if you say you
I was gonna say the same thing. It almost looks like a garage.
Yeah. When we talked about it, and I'm fairly confident he said it was external, but we can approve it based upon confirmation that it is external. And if it's not, then
Yeah, I think that's the route we go.
and what we can do it, or we can put it on hold. Like I said, I don't want to disadvantage him because he got money last year, because he got his application in, and it's here. And
I think as a practice, maybe we should just let applicants know that repeat applications will be formally approved like in May. We can go through them all and tentatively pending finances still being available May 1st.
Yeah.
That way we give all
Other people
an
opportunity, a chance.
and they kind of know that they have the green light.
So you can approve it based upon the time frame if others don't come in.
I think we approve it because we didn't put that expectation out before and we don't have anybody else, but I think
they all do, when they apply, they do know that if they're repeat people, that their project, all things being equal, are going to probably lose out to one that's new.
Yeah.
But at this point, that's not the case.
yeah, we don't have any, so
So I think the best thing to do is kind of go through these one by one. If you take 24R1, I would entertain a motion to recommend this project to the village board for formal approval.
and this is for the windows, right?
Yep, Jeff Avery.
So move.
So we have a motion by Chatterton,
I'll second.
a second by Thomas. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, approved.
Aye.
Say what? Okay, we got you. Thank you. 24R2. This is Stephen Fouts. This is the
I think I'm delayed.
This is the redoing of the driveway. Asphalt on the driveway. Project cost of $10,800, with 75% of that would hit the cap of $5,000.
So move.
So we've got a motion by Chatterton to recommend this to the board. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from CEDC. All those in favor, please signify by
I'll
saying
second.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Aye.
Next, 24R3, Peter Kaufman. This is the tree removal and replacement project.
So
We're just approving the replacement of the
I would amend my motion to be inclusive of tree replacement not to exceed $300 without $500 without committee formal reapproval.
I'm not sure I'm following.
Well, that allows them to go get the trees and get them planted without coming back.
We're approving removal plus.
Plus up to $500
Okay.
for replacement. If they need more than $500, they need to come back to the committee, and
Okay.
they have to provide all the necessary paperwork to get the $500 afterwards. That'll just kind of keep them from waiting for us to reconvene.
All right. So I have the motion. Do I have a second? Second. Pearson on the second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right. 24R4. This is the Ken McCoy project. This motion will include me confirming that it is exterior work. And then did you also put a time frame on it?
I don't
Not
think
at this
this
point.
year. I think
Okay.
next year if we need to do that. But
So I'd entertain a motion to approve this, confirming that it is external work.
so move.
Pearson makes the motion. Chatterton, second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right. Commercial. So we've got two commercial projects. Both the commercial projects that have came in were haven't had any that were denied at this point. The first project is for the Hannah City Car Wash. They are wanting to put in a new electronic door, an upgraded electronic door for the. I guess I've never used it, but apparently there's an automatic one which you drive through. Project quote was $20,794.50, which puts them at the cap of $15,000, and that project would be 24C1. Any questions on that one?
Okay, great.
All right.
No.
Did you have a question? The second one.
No.
The second one, everything is eligible in the packet with the exception there's $3,500 allocated to the fields. So those dollars are not eligible per, you look at the third page of the quote, the fourth page, which is Hannah City Sportsman's Club summary. The maintenance and repairs of ball diamonds, that $3,500 I was told from the Jacob and Klein is not eligible. It doesn't mean that we can talk about this after we look at the rest of the project. We could offer them just a basic economic development agreement, business development agreement outside the scope of these projects, the grants that have the more strict approvals. So if you wanted to do the $3,500 outside of that, we can do that. I'm not again suggesting that we should or we shouldn't. I'm just saying that those dollars are not in what we're reviewing here, but everything else is eligible. So it's installing a new door, installing outside electrical services and lights, constructing gates for the beer garden. Those are the things eligible in the project, and you can see all the pictures and stuff. So I guess I would entertain any questions that you might have on this project. It's 24C2.
Did they happen to say why those ball fields? Like if the park district came to us, we'd be able to use it, right?
We talked about it, and forgive me, but I don't remember the exact reason. I just remember her saying that they had checked and said that the ball diamonds are eligible for BDD money. We can give them BDD money,
but not TIF.
but not grant money.
Not grant.
Not because of the restrictions of the grants, and I don't know what the restrictions are related to it on the grant side, but yeah. And personally, they've been a really good partner for us, so I'd like to see us support the $3,500 outside of it. And if you guys are all feeling that way, what I will do is I'll have them fill out the separate paperwork that's required for that. I'll put that through the process. We're going to have another meeting anyway because I know I've got one residential grant. I know I've got another commercial grant coming, and we can just review that and do that at that time, at $3,500 if you want.
Yeah.
So if there's no questions on either of the projects, I would entertain a motion to approve 24C1, which is the door for the car wash. It is estimated $20,794.50, so it'd be the full 75% or $15,000.
So moved.
So I have a motion by Thomas, second by Chatterton. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
And before we get to the Hannah City Sportsman's Club again, we went through this before. I'm a member of the Sportsman's Club. Am I allowed to vote?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
You're representing the school district, so
All right.
and Megan works there.
Yeah.
So there's a small town. We're going to have conflicts, right?
Yeah. I thought that was the case.
That's right.
Full disclosure, I do as well.
Okay. Yeah, I would say I'm comfortable that you guys. I mean, if somebody is not comfortable and they want to recuse themselves, I suppose that's fine. Personally, I feel like if you're wearing the hat of the other taxing body that you represent, or if you're at large like Megan and you're representing the community as a whole and can be objective in that, which I feel like you guys would be, otherwise I wouldn't have you here, I'm okay with you voting.
Okay.
So we got 4C2. It's everything in this.
Yeah. And I would like to say too, we're just recommending this, so.
Right.
What'd she say?
Yeah, we're just
recommending.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's a good point, Megan. Yeah. So 24C2 minus the ball diamond, the 3,500 for the ball diamonds. That makes the project 16,381.54, or a reimbursement of 286.15. Do I have a motion to recommend 24C2 to the board?
So moved.
CEDC makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, Trace on the second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Aye.
The last thing in your packet I thought I would share with you. We talked about the possibility of doing some sidewalk work with business development dollars and some lighting work with business development dollars. I'm not recommending anything at this point other than I just wanted to get some numbers in front of you. So we looked at what it would cost to put a curb and gutter and a new sidewalk basically from Pekin Lane all the way down to McAllister so people could have access to Dollar General and get all the way down there via a sidewalk. And to do that, this is rough estimate from the engineers, but they're saying that project is about $182,000. It doesn't mean it's not something that we can do, but it is pretty expensive, especially because of some of the challenges being right along an IDOT road. So, like I said, I'm not asking us to do anything at this point. Otherwise, or you can give me feedback and reaction to that number. And I guess I'd also like to get some input is, would doing that be more valuable than doing, the long-term goal is to have 5-foot sidewalk from Murphy to McAllister on the north side of the road with lighting. It's probably cheaper to do some of the other sidewalks because we don't have to do the whole curb and gutter thing like we would have to do down there along the IDOT road. We'd basically be pulling out existing sidewalk and replacing it. So our money might go farther. So I guess I'd just be interested in your thoughts of, some people feel strongly that we need to get safe access to Dollar General. That should be our number one priority. Other people feel like we'd be better off doing the rest of the sidewalks on 116. Some people feel like we shouldn't do 116 at all. We should focus on getting sidewalks in other areas of town or fixing sidewalks in other areas of town. So I guess I just open it up for some discussion.
Walking around town like I do with my daughter, she likes riding this scooter. And I can tell you, it would be nice to have it going all the way to Dollar General, but she's constantly jumping off cracks this big.
Yeah.
So I would say we take care of the bigger, already messed up sidewalks that we have than spending a whole bunch of money to put a small section of sidewalk in. That's just me. I mean, all the kids I watch walk to the Dollar General, they cut right through Casey's gas station, go to the gas station, then they cut across. So you're going to have this nice sidewalk up here that nobody's using, walking right through Casey's. So I think it'd be better off, my opinion, is either starting on 116 or hitting real bad spots throughout town.
Yeah. I'm with you. I just think that we need to maintain what we have before we add to new. And yeah, I'm with you. I personally use that sidewalk, and when I'm jogging on it in the dark, it's pretty treacherous.
Sure.
At some of those spots. I mean, I'd love to have it widened, but right now I just like it to be
Flat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Anybody else want to weigh in?
I mean, I'm in agreement with that. You know, I don't think that an extension necessarily needs to be made, you know, all the way to the Dollar General. You know, that land, you know, previously prior to it being developed was kind of just an open lot. You know, and upon its purchase, it ended up just being, you know, a Dollar General, and then in conjunction with that, Casey's. And I think a lot of the traffic that you see in town stems kind of from, you know, Murphy, either on the north or even south side, through to Pekin Lane. And I think everybody else kind of in general condenses to that Casey's parking lot when they need to cross to Dollar General.
Yeah. Megan, were you going to say something?
No, I'm just saying I agree with that. I think that there's a lot of on the current sidewalks, and it's probably better to get that all fixed up before you put a couple $100,000 into a project.
The second paragraph in that email addresses lighting. I think sidewalks are expensive. They looked at doing 2 blocks of sidewalk of lighting that would include both street lighting and kind of decorative residential lighting, just 2 blocks, and that was $325,000.
That's nuts, isn't it?
And then but if you just do, so it's the pedestrian lighting that's the expensive. Because if you just do the IDOT normal road lighting, we could do 6 blocks for roughly $400,000. I guess I think what I'm hearing, everybody would like that road to be much better lit. I agree with that. But would you say sidewalks are more important than lighting at this point?
Yeah. Back to, do you know if there'd be any interest on the owner of the car wash and maybe Casey's if we did like a walking lane on their property, and we agree to maintain it and stripe it and put pedestrian signs out just to.
We haven't had that conversation, but it's certainly one we could.
I mean, it's their personal property, so right. I mean,
right.
But you know, people are going to be walking that way anyway. If we, as a village, said that we'd maintain it, we'd keep it striped like we did with regular streets and things like that. Would they be interested in that? It may be a benefit to them, just so they didn't have people walking through the middle of their parking lot there.
Right.
Hey, walk over there where it says pedestrian.
Yeah, good idea.
So these costs are strictly related to that spot that we were looking at putting new sidewalks.
No, the sidewalk is, and I don't think it's important to note that sidewalk cost that we're talking about down there includes curb and gutter because it doesn't exist and all that stuff. So that number is going to be higher than if just repairing or replacing sidewalks in other parts of town. Does that make sense? The lighting, I was just trying to get a feel for if we did both the road and the decorative, give me a rough cost, and if we did just the road lighting, you know, what it would cost. And so I don't know why he picked 2 blocks and 6 blocks, but it was just, I think, to give us an order of magnitude of what the lighting was going to be.
I know the lighting has had a little support with the board, especially Eric. Big advocate of lighting up some spaces within the village.
Just take a step back and look at the big picture. We've really been trying to focus on core utilities. So we've been doing every road, and this is year 4 of year 5. And after this year, we'll have every road done and the alleys done too, in terms of oil and chip and making them look nice and be functional. We've got a plan to line every sewer over the next 4 years and get that done. We're working on getting funding for the new water tower, which hopefully we'll know something in the summer coming up the next 3 months of whether or not we're going to get a low interest loan and some forgiveness on that. So if that happens, we're trying to get all that basic, using Laszlo's hierarchy of needs, I guess, food, shelter, and clothing stuff taken care of. And nobody really sees a lined sewer or whatever, but they do see better sidewalks and those types of things. But the board's mindset to this point has been, let's do the money to build up the basic infrastructure before we kind of moving into the sidewalks and lighting and some of those other things. But the road program, we may not need to go back to the very first road that we did. They may not need to be done every 5 years. Maybe they can be done every 7 years. So we might have 2 years where we've got motor fuel tax money to do sidewalks, which is why I was asking some of these questions, because after next year, I think those opportunities are going to open up to where we can do some things. And then the fight becomes, do you fix existing, or like over by where Megan lives, they don't even have sidewalks over there yet. And so it'll be a good debate as to where to spend the money, because there's plenty of opportunity to do some things. I'm confident we'll need to have another meeting. My question would be this, is what night of the week works best? I know Wednesday's bad for some of you.
Me.
Tuesday okay, or
Yeah, Farmington's meetings are on Thursdays.
so Wednesday and Thursday?
Tuesday.
My library board on Monday, every third Monday.
I'll skip the school board meeting.
You'd like that.
So, okay, I'll continue to try to look at Tuesdays. These will go to the board next Tuesday, and then I'll let you know what happens with that, and then we'll probably start. Assuming they all get approved, then I'll have my rollout meeting with everybody that's involved and get those projects running. Oh.